testing. Are we testing? Testing.
I gotta tell you something,
Wait,
Adam.
I can't hear you.
Are you there? Houston.
Are you there? What?
Adam,
are you sure?
I gotta tell you something, man.
What?
I was so depressed last week. Depressed.
Me too. But
that
that's
we
every week.
lost an episode to technology. You know what I ended up doing, Adam? I started drinking.
Good.
You know what?
That's how you numb the pain.
You know what? But because I'm a wuss,
Yes.
I started drinking non-alcoholic beer. You know what I learned about non-alcoholic beer, Adam?
What?
Non-alcoholic beer is a lot like going down on your sister.
Haha. Why?
It tastes exactly the same, but just something about it just doesn't feel right.
Oh, snap.
Hey, everybody.
You're the only one here with the sister. Hey, I have stepsisters, and that's perfectly
and
normal.
according to porn, that's perfectly okay.
Perfectly normal.
You're
a disgusting pig.
All you have to say is, no, it's okay. You really wanted this, right? You've been wanting this forever.
Or I'm going to tell Mom that you're in here with
I'm going to tell Mom that your grades are slipping.
Right. Or that you're in here making out with your hot girlfriend.
Yeah.
If you don't let me bang you and your hot
and
girlfriend.
your hot girlfriend.
Oh.
It's like, oh, and then she's like, oh, you disgusting pig. I hate you. Like,
I
she's
know.
like jerking
the
me off.
whole 25 minutes.
Real life. Welcome to the show, everybody. Hopefully, this is a real episode. We lost last week's episode, unfortunately, to technology. If you're a fan of us on Facebook, you had learned that.
Yes. So many of you enjoyed the fact that we lost an episode on Facebook.
Hey, I don't think they were
this week.
like, finally, those assholes have no episode this week. I think
know
they were
what?
like, hey, man, it's okay. We support you no matter what.
Then that means I think they would have clicked sad, like I did. Because Facebook is real life and not like, which means I approve of this. I am favorably not opposed to this post. So either they were saying, yes, this is a good thing that I get to go back and listen to an old episode.
Yes.
Which I'm sure
which I
everybody
recommended
does.
You guys, because we're going to redo last week's episode. So if you did re-listen to the episode from 2 weeks ago, or 100 to 81, that's great. You're all caught up now. So
yes.
we're gonna continue that list later on.
I just appreciate the validation.
Validation's great.
And it's probably good because I said some hurtful things to our brethren podcasters on that episode.
Like what, Adam?
Like
what?
I called the Dead Bedouins episode the worst episode of theirs I'd ever heard in my entire life.
Well, you can listen to part 2 of that episode.
And they're even more drunk this time.
Well, I felt like it was a lot less incohesive.
You mean incoherent?
Yes. They were actually maybe it's because they were drinking for so long they started to sober up a little bit. But
there you go.
Yeah,
that's just like real life.
Yeah, exactly. Rick had an episode again.
Go Rick.
Again, I
love everything about Rick.
Sure.
And I'm never going to say anything not great about
Okay,
Rick.
then I will.
Okay.
Rick, can you please stop can you please stop misrepresenting our show? Like, it's starting to get ridiculous.
He is representing to the highest quality.
I think he's turning people off on our show.
Emo core is still core, says one Norman Rick Wellbanks.
Right. I'm not
Therefore,
disputing that.
You know, all of these...
I'm just asking, we don't just listen to core music. God damn it, stop it.
Or do we? The real question is, do we only listen to core music?
I mean, the evidence shows that when we listened to the Menzingers, which is the most metalcore band,
there's
ever metalcore.
You could add core into that.
You know the last time we reviewed a quote unquote core band was in fucking November when we reviewed the Dance Gavin Dance's album 8.
September.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God damn it! Stop it!
But there's parts of the Menzingers, if you go further back, where there's yelling. There's some screaming, perhaps.
There's some yellcore.
So you could call it core.
You
can call it
talking loud core.
Heartland core.
Heartcore. Heartcore.
Yes, heartcore. There you go.
Anyway, yeah, you can check out Shit Rick Says or Shenanigans if you want to subscribe to our podcast.
But
Dead Bedouins had a great episode too.
Wasn't it nice that Cody discussed Woven more?
Oh, yeah.
We have something in common.
He said a thing. That doesn't mean he likes us.
He said those guys need to listen to Woven War, which is ironic because we've been listening to Woven War for a goddamn long time.
You've been listening to fucking Woven War long before you knew what a fucking Woven War was.
We brought the Tim Lambesis story to the podcast
week
world.
After week, we were on top of that fucking trial.
And now he lives a mere 70 miles away from us.
I'm scared.
He was released from prison early.
If you listen to our show, you'd know that, Cody.
But we really like Woven War. They were in my top 20 for
Great
the
stuff.
last two albums.
Good stuff.
The first album was in my top 10. Mm-hmm. Anyway, I'm glad we could connect on that.
Absolutely. So yeah, those are our friends, Shipwreck Says, and the Dead Bedouins. Check those guys out. They're great shows. So we have a lot to talk about. I guess we'll just kind of go into the feed really quick.
Is it funny that we were the slackers this week, technically?
Technically.
I know.
We recorded an episode.
I know, but it didn't happen, so therefore we failed.
We failed ourselves.
We're not the most consistent podcast.
We failed our network. We failed our sisters who we have sexual relationships with.
Stepsisters.
And our stepsisters as well. But we won't fail you this week. Hopefully, no. We got a new microphone, and this won't happen again. I assure you.
I know. So this is what, episode 227A?
7 Alpha.
Yes.
We did the beta version already. And
Yes.
it failed miserably due to technical restraints.
Right.
So this is the alpha version of this. And Adam was telling me earlier that it's a good thing that we're doing this because this list has shuffled about since last week that you didn't hear.
Right. When I recorded that one, then I went back and re-listened to some of those albums. I moved some things up, moved some things down. And now I have the real consistent list. This is version 3 of my final list.
So now there will be some surprise, at least on my end.
Yes.
Because now I'll get to see what the reshuffling is. That's great. So it's not a total loss. So let's go into the feed really quick and talk about some of the stuff that we were talking about last week because they're kind of important news. And then one really cool bit of news that we just learned today.
Yes.
Okay, so I asked for Adam's opinion on this last week. Adam, can you please turn Pure Heroin by Lorde off?
Oh,
I'm
sorry.
trying to tell you about this new story.
I was just excited for the new Lorde album.
Right.
It's going to come out soon, so I decided to put some on in the background.
So, Striking While the Iron is Hot. Lorde...
Still funny a week later.
It's great. It's great. We're funny. We're the funniest guys ever. Hey, ayo. But Lorde is now finally releasing her second album, and that's going to be called Melodrama. She released a song last week called Greenlight. Have you still not heard that song?
God damn it. No, I haven't.
Okay.
I should have.
It's a really good song. I regularly recommend that you listen to it if you get a chance.
Okay.
She also released a new song this past week. I don't remember the name of it because I actually have not heard of it. I heard it.
What was it called? I'm so pretty. We're so pretty. Let's all hang out and be pretty together.
Oh, so you did listen to it. Oh,
right.
Good. Awesome.
Right. Good. Okay.
So the album now has, as of last week, it did not have a release date. It was just tentatively set for summer this year. But now it has a release date of June 16th.
Sweet. I am there.
We'll be on top of that. We had many a discussion.
She's going to be on
4 years ago.
Saturday Night Live this weekend.
This past weekend.
From this past weekend. Download the SNL app now, and you won't get to see it because they don't do the musical performances. But that's fine.
Do they do that on YouTube too?
I think so, but I don't have any idea because I've never been interested in a musical guest on SNL since like 1997.
All right. So we talked about this last week because we finally got an update on this big supergroup that was teased a while back. But the remaining members of No Doubt, that band never broke up, right? They just don't do anything.
They're kind of just on hiatus. I was reviewing the Tragic Kingdom album, so I went...
They're just on hiatus until Gwen Stefani stops being famous?
Yes. And, she's kind of old now.
She's in her 40s.
She's like 43,
She has a 21-year-old stepdaughter.
Damn. That's what I like to hear. Stepdaughter.
So naturally, I mean, because I know how stepmother and stepdaughter relationships work.
They're too busy just going down on each other.
Yeah, it's like what are these bad grades you're getting?
I know.
You need to take your pants off.
I need to discipline you before your father gets home.
But you're my stepmother. This is not weird.
So she's busy doing her thing, and this band... I mean, we brought this story to you guys way back, I'd say August or September of 2015.
That sounds about right.
2015. That was a long time ago because, again, I was still living in my old house
Right.
when news of this band broke. And now we got a song?
Now we have a name.
A name.
So yeah,
Was it
the remaining members of
Dream-
No Doubt who are not Gwen Stefani,
Right. The ugly
teamed
ones.
teamed up with an aging Davey Havoc.
They're all the same age here.
Yeah, they're. But I'm just saying, there's a introduction video. If you click on if you look at punkvideosrock.com, their story on this, they have a little. I guess you can go to their YouTube page as well. They have an introductory video like, "Hey, we're Dreamcar."
Dreamcar.
So I saw that. I watched that video. It's about 2 minutes long, and that was the very first time I actually noticed that Davey Havoc is capable of aging.
He doesn't have his concealer on.
Oh, that's probably what
That's
it is.
probably what it was.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, this is like the best of Northern California, some of the not so great of Southern California coming together to make real music to the masses. And how many times does he say conformist?
17.
Ooh, nice. Okay.
Just kidding. There's a song. They have one song out right now called "Kill for Candy,"
Ooh.
and
That's very...
if you want to hear that song
a good
played
mixture.
over and over and over and over again,
Which I do.
you can go check them out live. They're going to be playing some select dates in April, including the Coachella Music Festival on April 22nd.
Well, I said back in whenever we talked about this is that I need to hear this band, and now I get to over and over and over again. And they probably throw in AFI songs and No Doubt songs.
That they probably do. Yeah.
Because, Davey Havoc can do a great No Doubt. Like,
I'm walking in the spider webs.
God, that's do your ex-boyfriend. So this news got me a super
Ex-girlfriend.
ex-girlfriend. Is it
I
girlfriend?
kind of always knew I'd end up your ex-girlfriend.
Oh,
Do, do,
kind
do,
of
do,
always
do,
knew
do,
I'd
do,
always-
do, do, do,
Okay.
do.
I never really learned the lyrics to that song. I've never been a big No Doubt fan.
That's okay. No, neither was I.
Good.
But tons of people in Orange County were.
But Dreamcar.
Dreamcar.
This is the band I was hoping No Doubt would become.
This is your daddy's No Doubt.
Exactly. So this gets me super duper hyped.
We need to figure out how we're going to contribute.
You go to their.
No,
go to
you
his
and
store.
I as a podcast.
Oh.
But let's talk about it first.
Okay. Well, one Jarrod Alonge, who is a YouTube comedian, or I guess he's just kind of a comedian. He's also he also does cool comedic floor reports every year during Warped Tour. He's done that for the
That's
last
right.
2 years now. He's released 2 parody albums.
Yes.
As well. One of them, the one from 2 years ago, ended up on my top 10. Yes, best albums
Do you want me
list.
to look it up?
Yes.
Should we consult the Mitt Romney binder?
Mitt Romney, presidential nominee Mitt Romney presents the presidential nominee Mitt Romney Memorial Binder, full of albums, not women.
Not women.
TM.
TM. So that was in 2015, correct?
2015, he released a compilation album.
Conformist, yes.
A compilation album of all of his fake bands that he has. He has a hardcore band, a punk band,
And that was called Beating a Dead Horse.
Beating a Dead Horse.
It was my number 24 album of 2015.
Ooh,
And for
yes.
Mr. Mike, it was... Let's see, I have to count. 10, 9, 8.
Number 8.
Number 8 album of the year.
Very cool. So last year he released a full-length record
Sunrise
for
Skater
just
Kid.
Sunrise Skater Kids called
Which
Friendville.
Was pretty freaking awesome.
Had some fun stuff in it.
My number 11 album of 2016.
At that point, at the end of the year, I felt like, okay, this isn't as funny as the first album, but like that's okay. Still some good stuff here. So one of the highlights of the first album was this emo revival band called
Yes.
Canadian Softball.
One of my best songs of 2015
Exactly, yeah.
was the track something about the length
Oh, yeah, it's a really long, convoluted sentence, long
of... God
song.
damn it. I don't have those printed out. But
But now that band may
is,
have a full-length album coming out.
he already
soon.
said it was done. He just needs the money to fund it.
That's bullshit, man.
He recorded it. He can record these in a freaking month.
He
If Drive By Curious can do it,
So,
so can he.
So Jarrod Alonge, as the lead singer of Canadian Softball, released a video.
This is the best part. Because all the other Sunrise Skater Kid stuff is some other dude singing.
It's another band actually
Yes.
doing all this stuff. But Jared's doing this, and he released a music video for his song "Fund Me," which is a commercial
Yes.
for the GoFundMe page for Canadian Softball's
And it was
new
really,
full-length album.
really well done. Because
great.
he broke down where all the money goes and why he needs $20,000
in song structure.
Yeah.
This is all done in song.
Right. And it was great because he said, like, okay, yes, it costs $6,000 to record the album, but then there's all these other fees and the
Travel expenses,
he's like,
and merchandise fees.
For Sunrise Cater Kids alone, I had to pay $14,000 to do blah, 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 blah. When I wrote that check, I had a very severe panic attack.
Yeah. I can imagine. I would too.
$14,000. Holy shit. But anyway,
Yeah, so
this is exciting.
He's asking for a GoFundMe?
Indie Gogo.
Indie Gogo.
Indie Gogo.
Indie Gogo from Hollywood.
We played there.
Yeah, we played at Indie Gogo, yeah. A few times, yeah.
There's so much.
But he's asking for a goal of $20,000 and a stretch goal of $30,000.
Oh, man.
$30,000, the band will go on tour. $20,000, it could release as early as April. Yeah.
So if you donate $1, you get a shout out in a song.
Yeah. And then they have different other tiers. I think you get a shirt, you get some merch, you get a physical CD too.
Right, a dad hat.
Why
are those a thing?
Because it's ironic. It's
stupid.
stupid.
It's stupid and retarded.
I know, it's stupid.
Nobody can look cool wearing that. But anyway,
not even attractive.
Not
people.
even like Tatum O'Neal. Wait,
who the hell is Tatum O'Neal?
No, Tatum. Who's the hot one?
Channing Tatum?
Yes, Channing Tatum.
Oh, okay. Magic Mike.
Magic Mike.
Yeah, okay.
If he wears a dad hat, he'll look like an idiot. And he'll
He kind of already does look like an idiot.
Never,
He's just like a meathead with a great body kind of idiot.
Never get vagina again in that hat.
No, never.
My Cubs hat is awesome.
Right.
Because it's not a dad hat.
It's not a floppy dad hat that says "Great, make America great again."
It is floppy because it's too big for me.
Oh.
But anyway, what are we going to donate? If you donate $250, he will make food and bring it to your house.
He'll make a tater tot casserole or something.
Dish.
Hot dish.
It's like, I don't know. It's a Minnesota thing.
I don't know, but I didn't look through all the tiers. I just watched the video, so we can go through the Indie Gogo thing and see what we want to contribute.
We could donate $2 under the Skinny with Mike and Adam
that would be
name,
great. And he could shout us out.
Because I really don't want a hat or a physical CD. It's kind of sad, right?
No, I mean, I'll go digital just like I did with the last two albums. But yeah, we'll check it out, and we'll definitely consider contributing.
Legitimately digital.
Yeah.
Download a car. Yeah. Live on the street.
Yeah. He's making me feel bad. Yeah. Onto the plate.
Greatest songs off that album. Made us feel so guilty, didn't it?
No, I don't know what you're talking about, Adam. But
I'm so broke from buying albums every year.
I'm so broke. Or I buy all the albums, and then we get free ones from press.
Press,
copies.
that's right. We get press,
and then we have to buy stuff like microphones, and albums.
I mean, the podcast is only generating upwards of $5 every 3 months.
No one's falling for this. We gotta move on.
Okay.
So now, a week after we intended to release this list, we're going to give you guys, we're going to continue our series that we're really excited to share with you all, our top 100 albums of all time.
Of all time.
Now, these are all the albums that we have listened to throughout our life. We have spent months and weeks.
Would you say is sad? Because there's nothing on my list prior to 1990.
That's
and for
fine.
you, what's the oldest
list?
album that you would say is on your list? Maybe something late 90s?
Can you stall for just a
I sure
seconds?
can. I'm going to put on that new Lorde song.
I'm going to say 1999.
1999.
That made the 100 list. If I want to go back to if I want to stretch it out to 150, I want to say 97.
Okay. So 1990 was my first album. And there were great albums out there prior to the 90s.
Right.
But are they anywhere close to our list? No. And I went back. I listened to a lot of albums from the 80s and 60s. Nothing from the 70s.
Right.
But they weren't as good.
Yeah, and these are albums that are, and we should clarify this each time we do this because you never know. This might be somebody's first episode.
Yes.
Stanley
that 227A sounds like a good one to start on. Yes.
Yeah, but it stuck in my head like a long time ago. Like Stan Lee used to always say, treat every comic like it's somebody's first, and that's fucking true.
Oh.
It's like, whoa, that's deep, Stanley.
So how does that relate to our list?
So anyway, so as far as our list, these are our top 100, our individual top 100. These are albums that mean the most to us, that are our favorites, and we have ranked them accordingly.
Yes. The proper order. We have to trust
definitive order.
We have to trust our process.
Right.
Now, the way I look at this is like you have 100 red apples.
Okay.
And they're all ever so slightly less red. Like your number one apple is the reddest.
The reddest and the shiniest.
And then every other apple
crispest.
is the slightest of lightest red, to the point where when you get to number 100, it's still red.
It's great apple.
It's just a little bit lighter.
It's just like there's not that crunch that number one has.
Yes,
you know?
and so all of these albums are so equally good that it's
Right.
very, very difficult to put them in an order.
These are albums that...
Which is why I turned to math, to make my decisions for me.
Okay, again, I'm going to respect the process, but I explained to you in last week's episode, which is gone forever, that I still you have to at least recognize the flaw in that, because not all songs are built the same.
All albums are created equal.
No,
but
that's not true.
But some albums are more equal than others. Adam Gort and George Orwell. TM.
You could just do it like Michael Scott, where he says, like, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Wayne Gretzky, Michael Scott.
Exactly. It's as true in 1948 as
Right.
it is in 2017.
Okay, but again, I have to. I can't get that out of my head.
when
that,
you
like,
have
not
one-
all songs are created equal.
Albums, Mike. Albums.
Not all albums are created equal.
Clumps of songs.
But it also goes back to songs. As you say, like, for example, this album is a 10 out of 11. You like 10 songs out of 11 possible
sure do.
songs on this track. This other one might be an 8 out of 11. But these 8 songs can be way better.
Yet, you still have 3 shitty songs on an album, therefore it's not very good.
You have 11.
Nope.
You have 10 out of 11 pennies. You have 8 out of 11 quarters. That's what it keeps coming back to, man. Not every song stacks up to one another. Not all songs.
Do
are
you need
created
me
equal.
to start assigning every song a penny to quarter
Please
amount?
do monetary values from here on out.
Like, okay, this album comes out to $1.12.
Right.
And this album comes out to $1.16.
I'm not asking you to change. I'm not asking you to change your process. I think your process is great. I just saying there's some holes in it.
Nope.
Okay. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. The way we're gonna do this is we're gonna go through a handful of tracks and we're gonna highlight a few for you guys, because if we talked through all 20 of these, all 40 of these albums, we're gonna be here all night.
All night.
Yep.
Forever and ever and ever.
Like if we did that last week's episode would just now be done.
Last week, my wife and daughter went to get froyo, ate froyo, got Mike and I froyo, came back with the froyo, and we were still recording.
And when we finished, the froyo was half melted. It was awesome.
It was great. Anyway, should I go first?
Go first,
Because
my
my
man.
first 5 did not change between last week and this
Okay.
week. So I guess
So you're gonna start with your number 80
my number
album.
80, which I don't know if you remember what it was
Sorry.
from last week, but let's
As
just
soon
say
as you play it,
it starts with the L,
it starts with an L.
or do you want to be surprised?
No, I'm looking. I'm sorry. I remember now. But I'm glad you played this song again, though.
Yes.
I love this song.
So we'll just tell our little story about this song and how much we love this song and how much at Self-Help we enjoyed hearing this song live.
The song comes off of the 2010 album Fake History from one of our newest favorite bands, Let Live.
Yes.
Friend of the show, Jason Butler.
Friend of the show that popped up in my Facebook feed recently, said, hey, 2 years ago you took this picture. Like,
Yes.
he has a beard.
Yeah.
Yes, and at Self-Help last year in March, they played this song to close their set. The entire crowd ended up on the stage. The band,
Microphones were stolen. The band was standing on equipment in terror.
yes, somehow the band kept playing, yet Jason lost the microphone, and the crowd sang the rest of the song
It was
for
a
him.
magical experience. Oh,
And I know
and to this song too.
and then Mike and I could have gone up there on the stage. Granted, it got filled really fast.
I was perfectly happy where I was, man.
And to see it from where we were, rather than to see it from on stage, I think that was fine.
It was awesome.
But this album has so many nuances, so many like different musical elements. This is like the soul punks, as I have on my
Soul
sweatshirt.
Punks, yep. Do you have a favorite song off of
This is my favorite track, I think.
I'm very partial to the one of the singles, Mother. Muther,
and Homeless Jazz is another.
Yeah, Mother. I feel like it's a very emotionally driven, amazingly impactful song. Oh, fuck up. Yeah, this album really takes the punk genre into new avenues, and just it's just so from start to finish, it's just so solid all together.
So first album of the evening, Soulcore.
Let's
go ahead and hit pause.
Oh.
I'm gonna just name every album we listened to today a core, just so that we can prove Rick right.
Rick is always right. I mean, as you listen to his show, he's never wrong. Everything he ever says and does is right, and everybody else are stupid fairies.
They're stupid fairies.
So my number 80...
Exactly. Anyway.
My number 80 is an album that has been a longtime favorite of mine, and I first got into this band because the lead singer of this band sang on one of the best EPs I had ever listened to in my life. When I finished listening to that 15-minute EP that he was on, I was literally speechless, almost breathless.
Oh, yes. Covered in sweat. Numerous children had been killed on your drive to work that day.
Exactly.
We have no idea what became of them.
And, I'm still running from the law to this day. It's my life is a terror. When I found out that he was no longer in that band and he started a new band with his friends back in Philadelphia, I was kind of like, oh, well, I guess.
A band that he went to so that he could maintain his sobriety, and obviously that worked out really well.
But this is Circus Survive. This is their second album, On Letting Go. This is from 2007. I feel like this is the band at the height of their powers. I don't think they've ever surpassed this album as far as consecutive good songs, as far as like an overall tone that fits really well, as the instrumentation meshes well with the songwriting and the lyrics, and this is the most singable album as well. This is the most hooky of all the Circus Survive albums. Probably my favorite song on this is The Greatest Lie. I think it's track 4. So how do you feel about On Letting Go?
Well, we may or may not be talking about this later in the episode.
Oh, whoa.
But this album is definitely my favorite of this band. It's the one you can listen to consistently without being disappointed.
Yeah, absolutely. This has the most songs on it that are great.
I would say the musicianship overpowers Mr. Green a little too much. Like it's like his melodies, because you can tell, like,
production-wise.
I just mean in terms of how good the music is and the way that he had to write his melodies around their funky time signatures and stuff.
Yeah.
That's just where the album starts to lose me a little bit here and there, because you're like, this melody is kind of a stretch for this thing, and maybe they're just trying something new.
A lot of the songs at the end of the album I can see are a lot like that.
Yeah.
This
one's pretty perfect.
This is an amazing song.
Yeah.
And you're right. I mean, I feel like Anthony had the music after. I don't think he was a part of the music writing process. I think that's changed more as Circus Survive has gone on to their career. I think he's taken more of a active process into songwriting. But whatever the magic was that created On Letting Go, I think it was just perfect for that time. For that time in music and for this band. And they have an album coming out this year, so I am very cautiously optimistic that it's going to be great.
Right, because
and according to Anthony Green, this is the first Circus Survive album that he's going to be sober on.
The first one.
Right.
Well, shit. That's kind of sad, because he quit Seosin originally because he was afraid he would be partying and doing too many drugs.
Yeah. Well, It happens. As
Well,
you do.
we got a good Seosin album out of it.
We did. Hopefully, part of me hopes that's the last one, too, because you got to go out with a bang.
So I did forget to mention that after our episode of our 100 through 81, I had to go back and put things in their proper mathematical place. Because I had originally put Amity Affliction at number 81, but that album was a 90% as opposed to a 90.9%.
You got the math wrong.
So it dropped from an 81 down to a 97.
Wow.
Because, that's just where things need to be sometimes.
Yep. That's quite a dip, by the way.
That is kind of a dip. But I got to say, looking at my list, I still feel it's okay.
Okay.
Because all these other albums are fair in their own right.
A death. Get
So,
fucked.
my number 79 album... Oh, by the way, that ended up my number 81 album being Thursday, A City by the Light Divided.
You heard that right, folks. That's Adam's 8 through 1.
81.
8 through 1.
So, moving on to my 79, a little band we just talked about, Thursday.
Woo!
With Common Existence. My favorite album from this band.
Wow.
Relatively consistent all the way through, except for that Arrow song in the middle.
Times Arrow.
Times Arrow, where they play it halfway through and then it gets played backwards.
Yep.
And it doesn't sound right at all.
You get it?
No.
This time is forever looping.
Looping backwards.
You get it?
No. Anyway, not your favorite album from Thursday.
It's probably my second least favorite
I
one.
know, which is amazing because it's so good. Anyway.
They did something new with it, and I like it a lot.
Yeah, and that was their fifth album at that point?
Right. Yeah.
So try something new. It
right
works.
after the amazing, City by the Light Divided, too,
Yes.
which is interesting.
Very, very close. Moving on, number 78 album, Let's Live, The Blackest Beautiful.
Oh, so good.
So all of Let Live's albums
So good.
are here at the bottom of my top 100 list.
Yep.
We've already been through them all, but they're all still good. Like I said, this is the reddest apple and a slightly less red apple.
There's a tiny
It's
bit of
still
green in
good.
the corner.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Maybe a little worm poop. Maybe a little one. One that you could still eat. But,
Edible
it's,
worm poop.
It's all good. You don't even notice it's there.
I wish I could make that the title of this episode. Edible worm poop.
So the reason that I spent so many weeks last year coming up with so many different top lists of 2012 and 2013, thanks to Doc Brown.
Yep.
But because of this album, my number 77 album of all time, Acceptance Speech by Dance Gavin Dance.
Woohoo!
The most metalcore. That's a real metalcore, right?
It's experimental.
It's
It's experimental hardcore.
There's
I
some
would say.
incredible guitar work
Yeah.
on every Dance Gavin Dance
That
album.
Will Swando.
I know.
That Will
Good
Swan.
shit. Coming in as close, number 76. The closest of 76 is Bring Me the Horizon. Sempiternal.
Sempiternal.
Went back and listened to that this week.
Woo!
I feel very comfortable leaving it at 76.
Didn't even break top 50. That's
I
shocking.
feel because of the youth of the lyrics,
the
obviously,
youthfulness of the lyrics.
the crooked
Okay.
young, and the fact that song that we
The
discussed.
fact that they were the fact that they were young men when they wrote this album.
Musically, it's a great album.
Right.
You know that. And I can almost give Seen This All Before. I could almost give it a pass, except for that poor chorus. There's like some great transitions in the guitar going back from the chorus into the verse.
I love the guitar. I guess it would be a bridge towards the end, where it's just the guitar. Dun 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 dun.
Yes.
Dun, 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 dun. Oh, it's so good.
But that song
it
just
still gives me chills. 4 years later.
it still has that poor chorus.
Okay.
So I feel comfortable with it. And also because it still sounds like very, very young men making an album that like influenced
Sure.
a generation of very, very young people.
That's just the zeitgeist of what happened, man.
It's not going to influence me to make
Right.
music or to
Oh.
be creative.
That's a shame.
And all the bands that have tried to recreate this have done a miserable, sad, disgusting job of it.
You mean less talented bands making
Yes.
less talented music?
Yes.
What a shock.
So even on re-listen, I was comfortable leaving it there
Okay.
at number 76.
Okay.
But let's move on to number 75.
That's fine. Let's do it.
Okay.
Highlight another band for our good audience.
So Mike and I had a long discussion last week already about whether this particular album was better than Sempiternal.
Mm.
By an ever so slight reddish hue.
By a hair.
By a hue.
Because this album's so memorable. It has lots of songs.
Every
with
time
choruses you
I go
remember.
back and listen to this album, I remember how memorable it is.
You remember how memorable it is only when you listen to it. Okay.
And then you hear a song like this. I chose to not just play the single off this album, but to play one of the buried tracks.
This
that
is
really good.
2016's Dissonance by Hands Like Houses.
Yes, it is. My number 3-ish album of 2016.
I was quite shocked when we talked about that a few months ago.
I think it was number 6.
It was pretty high.
I'll check the binder later. But I mean, this band, as we've said before, very, very talented. Great lead singer, great hooks, great choruses throughout on this fucking album.
But why can't we remember them? Where's that?
But as soon as
that's missing?
As soon as I turn it on, I remember them.
Sure.
But it gets buried underneath everything else that's more in your face.
To be fair, I've probably listened to Sempiternal from front to back probably about 200 times in my entire life. I've probably listened to Dissonance maybe about 20.
I think you should listen to it more.
I should. It's a great album. I'm not disputing it's not a good album. I'm just saying
it just doesn't stand out because it's not as like screamy in your face. Like, you can't start an album with and not have it stick in your head forever and ever.
Yeah.
But is that album
amazing?
Is that album better than this album?
Yes.
The answer is no.
By a hair, apparently.
By a hair, because
according to half the
they
show,
put more songs. They put more effort into this album than Bring Me the Horizon did.
Whoa!
By one.
Whoa! They
Is that
put
a good way of
more
putting it?
effort into this?
All albums are created equal. Some are more equal than others. 2 guitars good. 4 guitars better.
God, I hate that book. I hate that book so much.
It's a metaphor for communism.
I get it.
Do it.
I learned that in middle school.
Don't you understand? The pig is Stalin.
He is! He's a pig!
And his name's Napoleon. Anyway.
He has a complex! But I think, I don't want to make it sound like I don't enjoy this album because Dissonance is great. Hands Like Houses is great. What I would ask of this band, I mean, not like it's easier said than done, but like just, I want this band to hit a home run and make an album that sticks with me even when I'm not listening to it.
Ooh.
Sempiternal did that.
Sempiternal did that.
But
does that make it a better album? That's the real question.
Even Fake History has done that. I can't say Dissonance has done that.
As when I listen to these songs, I feel like it's done it. Anyway.
That's fine, dude. That's
slightly less red apple.
Delicious apple, though. I'm crunching right into it. Number 79 on this side of the podcast studio is an album that I was really pleased to learn. I was really pleased to listen to, as this was their debut album. This is Through Art. They Are All Equals. The debut album by Slaves. When Johnny Craig.
Slaves. Back when that band was still several people.
Yep. Back when that band was more than 2 people. Some studio people.
It was 2014 that album came out, right? Yes, because I listened to
right.
it when we were in Big Bear.
Yeah.
During that Morning from Hell.
Oh boy.
That we discussed already.
Yep.
So yeah, I said last week that was 2015. So now it's been, almost 3 years of that.
Yeah, they
band.
have a new song. They just came out. They have an album that's supposed to come out this summer.
2 albums plus 1 song plus 3 fewer members equals
greatness.
79.
Speaking of Mr. Johnny Craig, here's a band that he used to be in. It's my number 78.
Ooh.
Is Instant Gratification by Dance Shomo Dance.
Yes. Great job, Shomo.
Great job, guy. Thanks for talking to us every week.
Did we go see them after that album came out? Yes.
Yes.
We saw them.
We saw them at the 10-year anniversary.
Right. So yes, we did hear a lot of songs from that album.
Yes.
I get confused on when we saw them. The numbers all blur
I'll
in
never
my head.
forget. Like, for some reason, this sticks out of my mind.
How great of 2015 you were having at that moment?
Well, that too.
Yes.
But what do you call it? Tillian Pearson on stage, he goes, "This next song's called The Jiggler." And then they played it because that's a song off of Instant Gratification.
Yes.
For some reason, like him up there. It's completely quiet. The crowd is like almost dead silent.
Yes.
The band is like tuning their instruments. It's like, this song is called The Jiggler. And it's like, all right.
I know. And then we met Johnny Craig. And
friend of the show.
And then he got sober.
Number 77.
After that, we met him. Several months after.
Number 77, this band's self-titled album. We talked about this even when we did the redo of 2012's best albums of the year, In Fear and Faith.
Yes.
With their album, In Fear and Faith.
In Fear and Fail. Because that album failed for them and they got dropped from their label.
Technically, yes.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Here we go. So this is number 76 is this band's technically best album. It's not my favorite album for this band, but I would have no problem arguing that this is the band's best on a technical front. Thrown to the Wolves by From First to Fail. From First to Last.
Fail to Last.
They're supposed to have another album coming out this year. They keep hinting at it. They have a new song that has shitty lyrics in it.
Thrown to the Wolves is a great album.
It's a very angry album.
I gave it
too.
an 8 out of 10 because
he doesn't like He-Man Woman Haters Club.
Yeah, that song.
Which I feel like is my favorite. I mean, I put it on my playlist here. It's my favorite song on this album.
But why?
Because it's a great song.
But it's not.
It's a great.
Yeah, that fits with the album.
What?
Great.
What?
It doesn't make any sense.
Doesn't matter. But my number 75 album is an album that you haven't listened to, but you heard the song last week.
Right.
I'll just get right back. I'll just get right into it right now. This is from 2005. This is Soundtrack to a Head Rush. And this is from a band that was only around for a little while. They're called Emmanuel. And I was doing my weekly Best Buy trips to buying my new albums for the week, back when I used to do that. And I recognized this on the new album counter that they used to have. And I was like, oh, I've seen that album art in a page spread advertisement of an alternative press magazine. I'll take a gamble and pick this up.
You took out a small loan.
Took out a small loan.
$23 for it.
Paid $37 to breathe their air. But I picked this album. I think this is the first one I listened to of that stack that I bought. I was on the drive back home. But wow, I was blown away by this band. It was a brand new band that I had never heard before. They have a very cool, unique alternative punk sound. There's a great ballad in here called "Make Tonight." It's a really cool, really sexy kind of young love song.
All right, sexy and young.
Sexy and young.
Just like Mike likes
like all the videos I watch on the internet. But this is the lead single called "The Willing." This gives you a good idea of the sound of this band.
It's very used-y.
It's kind of used.
But it's 2005, and
you're going to sound like the Used.
They were pushing the used sound at that point.
Yeah. But this band had a very cool sound. They released their 2007 follow-up to this called Black Earth Tiger. Not as good. The song quality is not as great as this one. Not very hooky, but still a good record. It's still a decent follow-up. But after that, this band disbanded because
depression and anxiety.
Depression.
It always wins.
It always wins. I'm living proof. I'm kidding. But if you're ever like in a musical dry spell or something, go check out this album because I think all alternative and rock and punk fans will probably really enjoy this album.
I'll sit here and wait for the next year for you to share it with me.
Right, because in a year I'll probably remember and be like, oh yeah,
by the
I have
way.
a best friend who likes music too.
Because when I hear something that I enjoy, I want to share it with the people I care about. But apparently Mike is
not me, baby. All to myself.
And
Avarice.
As you can see, it's worked out so well when I've tried to share music with my wife.
Yes.
As she hates everything that I like.
That's okay. Like I keep saying to you guys, I'm a better wife.
You're a better wife.
Will be.
You're a better husband to her than I am. Better father to my child.
Apparently,
although
I make her cry.
I know.
Because I just asked her not to fucking damage her eardrums.
She wanted to hear it really, really well.
In a really loud speaker, yes.
Hello. And here she is.
Oh, speaking of the devil.
Is it bedtime already?
There she is. Oh, she does? Hey, sweetie.
Good night.
Sweetheart.
All right.
Oh, yeah. Because I asked her not to put it up against her ear.
Good night.
That's the most adorable thing ever.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nora.
Night. All right, cool.
Yeah, so I
Now
think
we got to be a little
you're
bit
up.
more quiet. Is it already 8:30? Holy shit!
It is 8. No, it's not even 8 yet. It's 7:53.
Why is she going to bed so early?
I don't know.
Well, we can still be loud until 8:30.
Yep.
Okay,
Let's do it.
Cool. Is it my turn?
Yep.
Okay, I got to move
74.
on. Move on to my next page.
So many pages.
Too many pages. I had to reprint them out at my place I go to during the week.
Kinko's.
Yes, Kinko's.
To print out all your prints.
So my number 74 album. These are all 11s out of 12s.
Woo.
The first 11 out of 12 was Hands Like Houses. The next, man, yeah, pretty much the rest of the evening will all be 11s out of 12s at this point.
Nice.
91.7%.
And at this point, are these getting reshuffled?
Yes.
Okay.
Now they've been reshuffled around.
Okay.
Maybe not this one necessarily, but
Then
probably
I will turn my head when you go to
yes.
highlight your album.
So probably the next two albums will probably be the most highest selling albums on my entire list, I would imagine. But the iconic rock album that was 1991's Nevermind by Nirvana.
Nirvana.
So I know I talked about this with Mike last week, but to know how much the band hated that album, but to see how influential it was, like all these things went through my mind as I re-listened to it to try to decipher, okay, is this a good song? Is this a bad song? And even the overplayed songs, I can still sit there and say, like, you know, these are all right. These are good. I give them a pass, even if I don't want to ever hear them again. Mm-hmm. But it's still a pretty damn good album all the way through.
Yeah, and really quick before you move on, like you said, that album is influential. That wasn't just influential to the rock scene; that was influential to youth culture.
Yes, and to media, and unfortunately, a man had to die because of this album.
I mean, a man was murdered by his wife. Yes.
Yes. Either way, a man died because Nevermind happened.
Right.
If you listen to Bleach, doesn't sound anything like Nevermind. Mm-hmm. If you listen to In Utero, doesn't sound anything like Nevermind.
Right.
Like this album is just a weird snapshot of where these 3 24-year-old men were
right.
at this moment in time. They're just like, you know, guys, let's try to write some songs that like might get us popular, whatever. And then all of a sudden they became the biggest fucking band in the entire world in like 3 minutes.
Yeah.
And some people don't respond to that very well. It's 7:53. Why is she in bed already?
Daylight savings is coming up.
I did.
I'll turn down the speaker, and then I will, what do you call it? Fix this in post. All right.
On
with the show.
STFU.
On with the show.
All right, fine.
I'm not taking this out of the show, so on with the show, please. I do enough editing. I've done this for 4.5 years.
My number 70.
All of my own.
Can I move on to 73?
Yes, 73.
I'd love to move on to 73.
Don, close the door.
Nirvana,
please.
Nevermind, killed a man. Luckily, 2 people survived, and we got the Foo Fighters out of it.
Foo Fighters,
who
yep.
made one decent album. But anyway,
shots fired.
Into the Sky. Number 73 album, the other most successful album of my entire list. Another album I had to go through and be like, okay, are these songs good? Are they overplayed and I hate them? Or do I just hate them because they're overplayed? And the answer was, they're good songs. Yes. And again, a bunch of guys in their mid-20s writing songs. But that would be The Black Album.
The Black Album.
By Metallica.
Metallica.
So 1991 was an interesting year for Metallica. They had just gained a lot of popularity.
Well earned, though.
And Justice for All.
Well earned.
They won it. They were up for Grammy Awards, and they lost to Jethro Tull.
Jethro
Tull. And then they made the Black Album, and nearly destroyed their lives creating it. 3 out of 4 of them were divorced by the end of the recording process.
Oh my!
And unfortunately, you know, it caused a lot of tensions in the band. But still, for what it is,
that anger comes through, though.
For what it is, it's still a good album. It's
that Saint Anger comes out.
That was a few years later.
Yeah.
What's interesting about Saint Anger is that all the problems from the Black Album were still going on in 2001, 2002 when they were trying to record Saint Anger, and that's why they had to bring in a psychologist. I watched Some Kind of Monster recently.
Oh.
It was interesting. It's really interesting.
Except all that anger was filtered through shitty production values.
Well, not on the
and
Black Album.
banging on a trash. I'm talking about Saint Anger.
Right.
Yeah, and banging on a trash can.
So the songs on the Black Album are still pretty good. I
Yeah.
remember thinking when I was 15 years old, when I first heard the Black Album, was like, oh, this is like so incredible. Of wolf and man, he's talking about like he's like a wolf.
But also like a man.
But he's also a man. And when I was 15, that was so cool. But now,
So deep.
at 36, I was like,
Shut up.
well, it's still a good song. I got to give him
Yeah.
that much. And there's a song on there called "The God That Failed," which is really good. There's this "On Through the Never" is a really good song towards the end of the album. So a lot of non-singles that were pretty good on
Yeah.
there. I mean, the singles "Inner Sandman."
They are what they are.
I hate that song, but it's still a good song. Which
I mean,
drives
if
my
you were
brain
to hear it for the
bonkers.
first time, that hook would stay in your head forever and ever.
I learned to play drums with that song.
Yeah, there you go, right?
Without it, I might be less of a drummer. So anyway, we could go on and on for that one. So that was the Phil Collins cover album by Metallica.
Yes.
Anyway,
Thanks, Rick.
my number 72 was an album that I listened to over and over again, trying to figure out if Mike was right about this
Ooh.
being a not good album.
Oh, no.
Because I know this is Mike's least favorite album from this band. But every time I listen to it, it's still really good, and I enjoyed almost every song on it, and that would be
We are the children of...
Adelphia.
Yep,
and that's
by Skylit Drive.
and that's the only song that I don't like on that album.
Oh, boy. The only song, huh?
The only song. So I know Mike thinks that it was rushed. I know Mike
Because
thinks...
it was. The band said itself it was rushed. They recorded it in a week and a half.
Well, good for them. That means that they did a lot of drugs.
That means they had some gold.
And they did a lot of drugs, and they got shit done.
Oh,
That's
boy.
what bands have to do if you want to make my list.
That's right. You have to rush albums.
Saint Anger took like 3 years to make. It didn't.
Not on
it
this
didn't make my list. I want 8 days.
You have 8 days. You make it to 71.
So that album dropped down.
You
a
know,
couple of
maybe I
spots.
should re-listen to it because I haven't listened to that in years.
It's really good, and when you take like the hype, I guess, out of it,
But also the shitty production, like the vocals sound awful,
the
dude.
vocals sound like every other Skylit Drive album.
No, they sound awful, dude.
If you listen to it, you'll realize that.
Okay, I'll re-listen to it for you.
So that one had moved down on my list because it was higher last
Okay.
week. Another one that moved down on my list was my number 71 album, Rented World.
Hold on, really quick. Adam Gort says a Skylit Drive's Adelphia
Yes,
is better than Bring Me the Horizon's Sempiternal.
I do. Ever so slightly. Shades of red. 50,
Move on. Rented World.
100 Shades of Red.
Move on.
This is the first.
incredible album by the Menzingers.
This is
Rented
the
World.
first announcement of the Menzingers on my
Right.
list.
Yeah.
And they coming in with their 2014 album, number 71 on my list. Went back and listened to it again. I don't like it as much as the albums that are ahead of it, so that's why it dropped down quite a bit
Okay.
on my list. There's one song on there that barely even counts that I don't like. I think it's called "The Talk," and it's about 1 minute and 45 seconds.
Oh, yes,
but
yes.
it's still a song.
Yeah.
Because it's not just like we're gonna just pluck on a guitar for 100 seconds. So it's actually a song with like a verse and a chorus and a verse, and then it kind of ends.
We like short songs.
Yeah, exactly. So that moving on to number 70, which I wasn't happy that this one ended up at number 70 amongst the shuffling,
Oh, no.
but that's okay because it's still a better album than Sempiternal.
Oh, my God.
And
He's going to rub that in my face for 70 more
I
albums.
doubt that Mike is going to agree with me on this one.
Of course not. You put Sempiternal so low.
Where? Oh, there it is. Okay.
Now everything that goes through my head is that Adam thinks this song is better than Sempiternal.
Not a song, just
I'm sorry,
an
Adam
album.
thinks this album is better than Sempiternal.
Just an album. So
That are all
I'm gonna just
equal,
pick track
apparently.
1. No, crap! I almost played the wrong album here. Oh, my albums are all mixed up here. Okay, so again, we already talked about this album, but so I was upset that it ended up on a 5, like on a
Divisible by 5.
yes, a divisible by 5. But I couldn't see moving it up or down with anything around it.
And that's the nature of the goddamn list, man. Sometimes it
Yes.
hurts to move things.
right. But we already went at length talking about On Letting Go by
Circus Survive. This is the
Circus
opening
Survive.
track, Living Together.
And Mike,
one of the best songs I've ever written.
Mike introduced me to this band back in 2010.
Did I introduce this band first or Seosin?
This one first, I believe, but maybe right around the same time. And I remember thinking, like, oh, Mike only listens to hardcore and metalcore. And I was like, oh, the Circus Survive, they're probably a really hardcore metalcore band. And then I turn on this track, because I listened to this album first, because I didn't know which album came first.
Right.
And
Adam didn't have the internet back then.
I just didn't think, because it was like one of the first music dumps you had given me since the AFI Rise Against days.
Yeah.
Because,
you were like, hey, send me more shit.
Yeah. It was like, oh, it couldn't go 3 years between discovering new bands. Why would not? But I know I turned this song on one of the first times I listened to it. I was like, well, this is different. This is good.
This is a fantastic opening track, too. It sets the energy for this album, and it sets the tone for it.
Yes.
It really introduces you to all 5 of these musicians really well, especially the bassist, especially Anthony Green, especially that great guitar work.
Yes.
This cool shuffling drums that it's doing in this track. It's so good.
All the same guys in this band, right? Like, nobody's died or
as far as
left.
I know.
It's pretty surprising.
This band has had the same lineup for a long time.
For all their drug problems and drama. It's pretty surprising.
Well, they're all codependent on it.
I love you, Anthony. Don't leave me.
You're all I have. I'm coasting on your fame.
So, we've already talked to death about this album. It's great.
It's fantastic.
My favorite Circa album.
Yeah, and we'll never talk about this album ever again.
Nope.
Unfortunately.
Just like Dissonance by Hands Like Houses.
Unfortunately. Okay, so back to me here. We got my number 74. Adam talked about this briefly because he shuffled it on the episode from 2 weeks ago. But this is Let the Ocean Take Me.
Yes.
The Amity Affliction.
Presently my number 97 album.
And my number 74. This
Not bad.
is, yes, my favorite Amity Affliction album.
All right.
Here's a band that...
So nothing more from the Amity Affliction will be heard again from Mike. Is that what I'm hearing?
Again?
Never again.
Never again.
Okay.
Not to say they don't have great albums, but I'm just saying.
No Chasing Ghosts. One of your top 10 albums of 2012. What number?
Right.
We'll never know.
101. Let's just say it there. Everything that you question, let's say it number 101.
Bondi Street Blues, Mike.
Oh, fantastic song.
You need to reshuffle.
Yeah,
Anyway,
I know.
go ahead.
Number 73 is the band that I discovered back in 2006. Adam's never heard of this band until I talked to him about it last week. This is Fear Before the March of Flames is the band. This is their third album, The Always Open Mouth. And they went in a weird direction with this. Very experimental hardcore, very dark, very with lyrical content and songs that are about how society is degrading and how people are just getting stupider, how society is just it's young guys. So
Guys, have you ever looked around and thought society's getting stupider?
Man, get so black. But like, I'm teasing it, but like these songs are fan-fucking-tastic.
Yes,
and
sure. What's the name of this band album?
The Fear Before the March of Flames.
Okay, gotcha.
They reunited only to never do anything ever again.
Oh, bummer.
Number 72, Holding a Wolf by the Ears by From Autumn to Ashes.
Oh, interesting.
Number 71.
I have not heard that album. Have I? Wait.
Maybe. I don't know. Have you?
Is that the good one? Or
That's the
one of
good
the really
one.
bad ones that you...
That's the only one you
The
listen to.
only one, okay.
Because there's nothing but shitty
Man.
albums in that band's discography.
I did not listen to that album throughout
really?
all of my cycles because I forgot about that band completely.
Oh.
So
we'll have to
maybe
reshuffle
coming
something.
to a list near me.
101.
We'll see. We will see. If it's a 10 out
number
of 12, it's off the list.
Yeah, exactly, right? Number 71. Yeah, I could say this is my favorite album from this band. This album was also my introduction to this band. I'm Wide Awake, It's Morning by Bright Eyes.
Yes. Acquitted pedophile.
Acquitted pedophile.
Yes.
Bright Eyes.
Legitimately acquitted. So we don't need to
so-
talk about how he's legitimately acquitted from being a pedophile.
We never need to talk about that ever again.
Pedo-core.
Number 70 on my list is an album that this band has had a successful career up until this point, and this album got me into them. And they and the songs that came out of this album, got me listening. It made me start to pay more attention to them because I heard that they were now capable of writing good songs, that maybe aren't about their dicks all the time.
Oh, the non-dick album, that is.
Take off your pants and jack it.
Right.
You get it? Jacking it?
It's all about their dick. Anyway, they put some serious songs on this.
This is the beginning of Blink-182's transition into writing a little bit more adult music.
A little bit.
Sprinkled with dick jokes.
Sprinkled.
Instead of
ever
just
so slightly.
predominantly dick jokes, this is, they have this song, which got everybody talking, Stay Together for the Kids. One of the biggest singles.
Wasn't Mark writing songs about his mom and dad breaking up on all the albums?
Probably.
Because I'm just saying. There was that one about,
happened.
getting in the car with his mom. And
Yeah. Oh, right. Yeah.
I don't know which album that one's on. I think that's on the
It's a really
self-titled.
old one, yeah.
It's on the self-titled.
So that was after this one.
But anyway, this album is all right for what it is.
And I remember when you were going through your Blink-182 big review dump week after week. When you got to this one, you were like, okay, I'm listening, I'm hearing
I'm
something.
feeling things.
Yeah, you're feeling this.
Yes. That's on the next album.
Right. There's lots of great songs here. Reckless Abandon I like a lot. Like even the funny song, like Happy Holidays, You Bastard.
Yes.
I think that's a good funny song.
It's the best.
Yeah.
It's the best song on the album.
And we tease some of the singles like First Date, Rock Show. Like you hate those songs.
I do.
I like those songs. I think they're fun. I think they're enjoyable, and I can still listen to them here. And they bring you back. They bring you back to this nostalgic time in your life when you were young and stupid in love, and like you just love those cool punk girls that were just walking around.
They were all so cool and hot.
So yeah,
It
you
was so late 90s.
gonna sneak in through her window.
Yes. What's the little back and forth that Mark and Tom have at the beginning of that video?
Right.
You always say it so well.
So like I was saying, man, it's pitch black in there, and the next thing I know, you're just kissing your own brother, You know what they say, man? Like father, like son. What?
And then they just jump right into the song.
Jump right into the song.
And it's like, yes.
Tom DeLonge is a crazy person now.
He wants to be in Blink-182, but he's so busy with
He
UFO
won the
books.
2016 award for UFO
of the year.
Of the year or some shit.
He sure did, Mike.
Wow.
That's a real man right there.
But I really enjoy Take Off Your Pants and Jacket by Blink-182.
Awesome. Okay. So my number 69 album, the
Ayo.
sexiest album of my
Sexiest
list.
album.
Reshuffled a little bit from last week, but that would be A Skylit Drive. Oh, again.
What?
With Identity on Fire.
Oh, okay. Which makes up the same album.
One of my favorite albums from this band.
Great album.
Very, almost like I'd say less core than what ASD was.
Oh yeah, they got a lot heavier with their last two albums.
Yeah.
This one's perfect. This one's like Goldilocks. It's perfect.
There's so many good tracks on there, but I feel like the other albums that have just as many tracks that I like
couple questions for
are a
you,
little bit
though.
better.
I have a couple questions. What is friendship? This is friendship.
This is friendship.
This is for my friends. This is for my Cali buds.
Friendship. So unfortunately, Jarrod Alonge has ruined that song for me, but it's still a great song.
Great song.
It's still
Cali
great.
Buds is a good song.
Cali Buds is great, and I love Your Mistake. That is one of the best
yeah,
songs they've
so
ever
good.
ever done. And yeah,
That
good
band's
album.
due for a new album, I think.
Yes. Track 3 is the only one that I don't like, and I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head. But it's just a little whiny. Kind of like most of him sometimes.
Ayo.
Anyway, metalcore. Silverstein, number 68.
Cool.
A Shipwreck in the Sand. I had to
Love
go back and I re-listened to that one this week, and I moved it down on the list because it
Okay.
doesn't stand out as much as my upper albums do.
Sure.
But still a great album.
Great concept record.
Silverstein at probably their highest. I think this
Height
is
of their powers.
this is my favorite album from them because This Is How the Wind Shifts did not make the list.
Oh my.
So that's a 7 out of 10. So it's like way down there.
Shitty.
So
Get your shit out of here with your 70%. Fucking straight dumpster fire.
number 67, metalcore again. But Mike already talked about this band, Instant Gratification, from One Dance, Shomo Dance.
Damn right. Damn good album.
Gotta love that album. It's still really, really good, and I don't think I can let it fall any further than that at this point. It wasn't even that high when I originally ranked it.
Okay.
I moved it up to an 11 out of 12 on re-listen.
Oh, cool.
So, yeah.
Shark Dad
Number 66, Page Avenue.
by
Story of the Year. The album that I initially poo-pooed, and then I gave it several years to grow on me, like 4 years.
I still feel like this is that band's best album.
Maverick Records' own Madonna's favorite metalcore band.
Madonna's favorite
Would you
metalcore album.
Would you say that album is metalcore?
No,
I mean, I
that
could
band's
say
like emo,
in the Wake of Determination is a little bit more metal than this album was.
Yeah, there's a lot more metal influences in that, but I know I'd say this is like alternative emo.
Yeah, not a lot of screaming, I don't think.
Some, but when it's appropriate.
A little bit. So my number 65 album, which I listened to again last week as I was driving to get my World Series champion Chicago Cubs 2016 tattoo.
He already had the Cubs emblem on his leg, but he needed to add
did.
Champions 2016 around it because it's appropriate.
And you know what? God damn it, I did.
May 31st is when we're going?
May 31st.
Cool.
You can go on another day if you want to, and I'll kick my kid out. Or my wife out.
Oh, no. So
on
June,
Memorial Day.
That's right. June 2nd or 3rd? I
No,
can't remember
we're
the
going
date.
on May 31st.
Oh, okay. Because
So-
you're going again, because you're going on Memorial Day.
Yes, that's May 29th.
Oh, okay.
Done,
Good.
Done. I have the calendar right here. I'm looking at it. Anyway, this album I listened to on my drive to and from that wonderful time that was my tattoo. And I had to listen to this one again, because again,
Okay.
I listened to it up until 2008, and then I didn't listen to it until 2017, January. January of 2017. And I was like, oh, wow, this album's still really good. So I was like, you know what? I should listen to this album again.
Okay.
This is an album that I'm pretty sure Mike might not be familiar with. But the rest of America is familiar with this song.
2008, huh?
This album is from 1993.
Oh, well, never mind. Is this like...
When I was 12 years old, I listened to my friend's brother sing this line over and over again.
Pearl Jam?
This would be Verses by Pearl Jam. One of the greatest albums that this band ever did.
Yeah.
The follow-up to their breakout album 10, which put them on the grunge map.
Not their 10th album, no.
Right. But this was their follow-up, which sold something like 2.1 million copies in its first week. And this was, I don't know if this was the first single, but this was the single I remember all the kids singing in middle school. And they'd be like, "Don't call me daughter." And my friend's brother would sing that over and over again. And I'm just like, what the fuck is this dude singing? Like, oh, he's full of crap, whatever. And then, 10 years later, I picked up this album and I was like, oh, that's where he got it from.
Nice. Very cool.
So-
Yeah, I've never listened to this full album, but I do recognize this single daughter.
Of course.
Yeah.
There's several singles on this album. None that were as big as this one, I think. But still, great album, almost from front to back. There's a track in there, number 4, called Glorified G, which is way overproduced drums. And it's about the drummer in the band who likes...
yeah, you were telling me this
who,
story.
who owns guns.
Right.
And Eddie Vedder kind of wrote a sarcastic song about how manly one feels when they have a gun. And
Wait a minute.
and he just kind of talks about how, like,
Song's about me.
I have this song, or I have this gun, feels so manly. He's like, never shot it, like, just kind of keep it around. Glorified version of a pellet gun. That's
Right.
that's the chorus.
Ooh.
And
Stinging.
it's not a good song, but the rest
Okay.
of the album is really good. But it is a departure away from what 10 was, which was like people were saying, "Hey, wait a minute, where's my 10 part 2?"
Yeah.
And it was like the beginning of fans being like, "Oh, Pearl Jam, I don't like them."
like change.
And then it just continued to the point that they can still sell out arenas every single night for
people want to listen to the same
3
5
months.
songs over and over.
No, they
again.
change up everything.
The people who go to their arenas shows wants to listen to the same 5 songs over and over.
I think that
again.
might be true.
Yep.
And then Pearl Jam screws with them by not playing most of their popular songs.
Goddamn right, and they shouldn't.
They play Even Flow every show,
Yep.
and they play Rearview Mirror every show.
Yeah.
And
I'm sure some sort of contractual obligation.
And Corduroy is the other one from the third album. But like all songs that were huge radio hits.
Yeah.
And but those three are staples, but everything else always changes. And I can just remember being at a show, seeing a like group of 10 bros just in a circle. Like this was after they had already played Even Flow.
Okay.
They were on to the next song, but the bros were bouncing and just singing the chorus to Even Flow over and over again. And, we were way up in the fucking lawn, so this is like free tickets I got.
Yeah.
And I was just like, these guys don't know what the fuck's going on down there.
No, and they paid all that money to listen to one song.
Well, we were sitting in the lawn, so it's,
Well, those bros
$25. Whatever. Yeah. I got it for free because I was at the show before, and they're like, hey, you guys want free tickets to tomorrow? Yes.
Yes, I do.
Because they played at the same venue like 3 nights in a row.
You got it, right?
So anyway. That was fun.
Right. So number 69 on this side here, also the sexiest one. Well, yeah, one of the sexiest frontmen, but also one of the most pretentious.
Yes.
That would be Devil by Chiodos.
Yes, one of your hate fucks of 2013.
Yeah, you
right?
remember that. Yeah, Craig Owens is one of my hate fucks.
He was. And you still...
Probably still is.
You probably still do him.
Yeah.
I'm scared for him.
Number 68. Boy, what a fantastic album. We talked about this briefly. The Black is Beautiful by Let Live, period.
Yes.
If you guys haven't heard Let Live's music, you should do yourself a favor and listen to some of their singles. Go to YouTube, go check out some of their music videos. I think you won't be disappointed.
So
Great stuff.
That was my number 4 album of 2013. Do you remember where it stood with you?
It was pretty high. I think
it wasn't
was
number 3.
5 or 6.
Okay. Close
Something
enough.
like that. Number 67. Yes. This is an album. One thing I really like are concept records, and when they're done really well, they can really elevate an already good album into greatness. And that's true for this album. This is What to Do When You're Dead by the band Armor for Sleep. Now the concept of this record is...
I feel like I've heard of that band prior to you mentioning it.
Yeah, you mentioned that last week as well. They're a band that like used to tour with other popular bands like The Used and Thursday and Census Fail, and like they followed around all the scene bands and stuff. The concept of this album is track 1, the lead character dies in a car accident, and his car gets submerged underwater with him still inside of it, and then subsequent tracks, he goes to heaven, doesn't like it there because the woman he loves is not there, so he goes back down to earth, flying, and there's this really great spacey song about how it feels when he's flying, and he's looking over people as a ghost, and it's a good record, man. It's
nice.
Good storytelling. Number 66, Execute Order 66. Do it.
You're gonna stick with that.
Yep. This is the only album from this band not featuring the original drummer Aaron Gillespie, and that is Disambiguation by Under Oath. This is their last album before they broke up.
I just could never get into that album.
Yeah,
I know there was
this band. That's true for this band too.
Yeah, I mean there was definitely a few songs on there that I thought Spencer did a great job, but
Paper Lung is my favorite track off of that one. That's that really dark kind of ghosty song. I think it's like track 4.
I haven't listened to it for a long time. So.
Really good. You should check that out again. And my number 65. We talked about this briefly on Adam's list. This is probably my favorite song on this album. But my God, Page Avenue, Story of the Year.
There you go.
Great album, man. This is a debut album from Story of the Year. Again, Maverick Records, Madonna's favorite rock band.
Only for 2 albums, and then they were subsequently dropped.
Yep. Epitaph.
But
Sucking at the teat.
This album caught this band in a moment in time. You can tell everything was right about it.
Yeah.
It's just really good.
I even think, I think in 2003 when this album came out, all the pieces were in 2002. Okay, I think all the pieces were in place for this album to be a success. Like emo music was starting to get popular again after having like a slight bump in the late 90s, and then
you could hear this song on VH1.
Yeah, you can hear
back
the song
in the
on
day.
And this album came out when people were still buying physical records, and
that's right.
So so they had that push from major label Maverick, and And if you take all these songs on this album, and this was released as a brand new album in 2016 or 2017, it would still be great, but I don't think it would be as successful for them, because I think it was just the time that this came out in the music culture that was at the time. It shot them to the superstardom that they were back all those years ago. So again, this is another band that has a new album coming out in 2017.
Allegedly.
They
Believe it
said
when I
it.
see it.
They had a picture of them sitting down.
Yeah. And they're
On a
like,
sidewalk.
okay, now we need more money.
Yeah.
Can you guys send us some money so that we can get this album recorded?
Do you remember last time we talked about this band on the show? Like, they were like, okay, we're back, but we're only going to write music when we have time, because we all have full-time jobs and families and houses.
Of course. Well, as a once popular woman once said, music makes the people come together. Music makes the... Oh, God, what's the line?
Music makes the people come together. Music
makes the
makes
bourgeoisie
and the
rebel.
rebel.
That's it.
Okay.
That's it. Bourgeoisie.
Maverick Records. Yeah, so I'm sure a lot of people have heard at least some of these songs, but go
Just
check out
like
Page
a-
Avenue as a whole. It's a great album from start to finish.
Just like a prayer. I
Yep.
hope to take you there. Just like it used to be.
Madonna's daughter hates her.
You are a mystery.
Do you remember when
Black
Madonna?
Jesus. Hashtag.
Do you remember when Madonna shaved a Nike swoop into her pubic hair to get us to not vote President Trump?
To not vote for President Bush the first.
Right?
Because it was a Bush.
It was a Bush. Oh boy.
Oh, God.
Oh God, Madonna, you suck.
She did a book called Sex. She was naked.
Mm-hmm.
Vanilla Ice was in it.
What? Was he naked too?
I don't know. I never saw it.
Oh.
They only
Maybe
sold
track-
like 200 copies of it.
I need to track down that book.
It was her at her Britney Spears phase of,
Yeah.
I'm a sexual being, y'all.
Hey, you get it? My body belongs to me.
So here it
Here's
is.
my giant bush.
That's the 90s.
I've got buckwheat from the Little Rascals in between my legs. I got it in a leg lock. This is my bush. No offense to those of you women who have giant bushes. I'm just saying.
Ice, ice, baby. So cold.
That's what that joke was. Oh God.
My number 64 album.
Winding down for this week's episode.
So I think this one stayed just about where it was at last time, but maybe moved up a spot. But that would be Mike's, I can almost bet, would be in his top 15.
Yes, you mentioned this.
And that would be Still Searching from Senses Fail.
Last week
This was number 65 last week.
Last week you gave me the shorthand. This would be in my top 10.
Did I? Okay.
So you said you guarantee it's going to be in my top 10.
Okay. Well, then I guess I have to stick with that, even though the audio is lost to the ages.
Well, you said it again, so.
But
Actually,
no,
I said it for you.
I will still go on record with saying that it's in the top 10 of Mike.
Top 10? Cool.
How much are we betting?
I don't know. I know it off the top of my head.
Oh, yeah. Didn't we say like $5.38?
Okay, that works.
That's right.
Works for me, yeah.
Or we can come up with wagering later. My number, but still, good album, great tracks. That one last song at the end where he dies.
The Priest and the Matador.
Not a very good song.
Kind of a weak outro, I agree, but
The time of death is 6:30.
kind of a weak outro, I agree, but as a story though, it wraps up that story.
It's a great story. Good songs. I love Bone Crusher, my favorite track on there.
Great track.
Number 63 album, jumping up quite a bit on re-listen this week. My second time mentioning this band, the Menzingers with
The Menzingers.
Chamberlain Waits.
Chamberlain Waits.
I moved that album above Rented World. Can you believe that?
I know. That's one of their early ones.
That is their 2010 near masterpiece that was.
Yeah.
Some really good stuff on there. I mean, that's when the band kind of like became what they are.
They kind of started that sound.
Yeah.
In that in Chamberlain Waits.
Great hooks, great storytelling, great even the short songs are like hooky and really, really good stuff.
Memorable stuff too.
Please listen to that one. All right, another one that moved up among re-listen. I believe this might have been down closer to 70, but I played a track from it last time, but I can't this time. But that would be Alter the Ending by Dashboard Confessional.
Cool. Yeah. Great album. Yeah, this is
The best album from Dashboard Confessional.
I feel like all the albums prior to this Dashboard Confessional album was leading up to Alter the Ending.
Yes.
So good.
For some reason, The 5 albums before it are just kind of emo, dribbling, good songs thrown in here and there.
I'm a douchebag on my guitar telling you how much I love you, girl.
And sometimes I put my speakers out my window.
Every beer I've ever had, the bottles on the headboard of my bed.
It's on a shelf above my bed.
Yep.
And so, yeah, Belle of the Boulevard, I didn't like that song very much at first. It grew on me.
Such a good song.
It's still not my favorite track.
Okay.
But there's still a lot of really good songs on that album.
There's a lot of songs on that album I could say are my favorite tracks.
Got Me Right, blah, blah, blah. And the one towards the end, that was really good. But all of those are really good songs.
Oh,
Track 3 is the only one. That year was the Track 3 syndrome, apparently, in 2009. So my number 61 album. Mike and I need no introduction to this band. So I bet just from that you can tell who it is, right?
I'm just gonna make noises.
There's not a lot of bands out there that we talk a lot about, but then again, there are.
'Cause we only talk about 3 bands on this show.
I know, and they're all metalcore
They're all
bands.
metalcore bands.
And this is like the most metalcore of all the metalcore.
I agree.
Some
What's your favorite part of this? Is it the chuggy guitars?
definitely
Is it the metal riffs?
definitely all
Is
of
it
that.
the synth intros?
Well, I wish there were more synth intros on this particular one. Oh man, there were so many songs from this album that made it to my best songs of the year list.
Oh,
But I had to pick this
so
one,
good.
my number 12 song of 2015.
Oh my gosh.
Moving up on my list, and it would just have to be. I mean, it's my 4th best, 11 out of 12.
20 times.
But the next 3 albums, I know I like more than this album.
Okay.
Like, there's just no doubt about it that those albums are better than this one.
And this album is
Number 61. Oh,
Heavy Love.
Heavy Love by Man Overboard.
Yeah. Their last album before they, I guess, kind of broke up.
I guess so, yeah. They're on hiatus.
Yeah. Free, I will get myself free as the day that you found me. Before I got caught in this mess that's around me, it won't happen again.
So we could maybe call this emo core.
This is just
emo, dude.
Emo
You're
pop
right.
punk, dude.
This isn't even emo revival. This is just like, hey, we listened to some Blink-182 and we decided to make a better band.
Yep. Oh my gosh. And this song, Borderline. Oh, it's such a good song.
Oddly enough, I think this is the only Man Overboard album that's on my top 100, but it's my favorite.
I agree.
And I'm really happy with the progression of this band, and I just want them to keep on making more and more albums.
Yeah,
But
well, let's let them take their break that they need to do so
need
they don't
to.
get burned out. And hopefully, if they do choose to come back, they'll surpass Heavy Love.
Maybe
I would
they will.
love that. Oh, such
So-
a good song.
Because it was tough, since this is my number 61. My number 60, 59, and 58 rank at an 11 out of 12, just like this album did. But those 3 albums are
Still
definitely
better than Heavy Love?
definitely better than this album.
Well, I can't wait next week to find it out. And yeah, this is a short song. I kind of feel like I want to listen to the whole thing. To get real sentimental before I leave. That song, that band has 2 lead singers.
They do, just like
We
the Menzingers.
found that out.
We figured that out, luckily, before we went to the show.
I know. we had to actually watch a music video. Number
okay.
64 on Mike's top 100 list. It's a Shipwreck in Sand.
Oh,
By
yes.
Skylit Drive.
No,
One
by
of
Silverstein.
Silverstein, I'm sorry. One of my... Oh, do I say that? I'm just going to say one of my favorite albums from this band. Again, it's another concept record, and I feel like they executed the concept well. You know, they used
Very.
they used the story.
The metaphor of a teenage boy getting angry that a girl doesn't like him, so he burns her house down and then runs from the law.
The Arsonist.
Exactly.
Um,
It was written by a 29-year-old man who
probably
was
dating a 15-year-old girl at the time.
definitely.
Yeah.
She was 19 at the time.
Okay, they're 10 years apart.
Yeah.
That's right.
But you got to put yourself in the mind that it's not Shane Told writing these lyrics. He's writing as the character.
He's writing at the character, yes.
So that was the hard part, because this was the first album that Mike gave to me of this band. It was like, oh, this album's really good.
A long time ago, in faraway ocean, there's a great ship.
I've gone years without sleep. I've gone years without food. Holding this in, I cut myself and my wrists are paper thin. Emo.
Yeah, emo to the max.
Core.
Capital
No wonder Rick hates.
E-M-O.
No wonder Rick hates us.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway.
Rick, don't listen to our show.
It's a great album.
It is a really great album. And
I hated it in 2011 when you gave it to me.
Yeah, I don't think I explained to you the concept, though.
No, nor did you give me their previous albums to warm me up
Of course
to
not.
this.
You know how I roll. Just jump right in, dude.
Into the middle.
Just jump right into the sea of Novocaine.
I want to drown
in a sea full of Novocaine. This next band, my number 63, they released only one album, but my God, what a great album. This is called Devout by the Epitaph Records band. Scatter the Ashes, one word. This came out in 2005. Great album.
We don't believe in the space bar.
No, we don't do that. The space bar was broken. It's just
metal.
like my soul.
The meta.
My number 62 is the debut album by this band. They had to pick up a lead singer because, as I talked about earlier, the lead singer left this band. They got a great replacement, and they released one great album, one garbage fire of an album. But the great album is...
Was that the name of the album?
Yeah, Garbage Fire by Seosin. The self-titled album from Seosin in 2006. Oh, great album. Great debut as well. And
except for that one song.
We're not alone. I feel like that was Capitol Records.
I know.
The big fat studio exec with the cigar in his mouth. I want a hit. Write me a hit.
It's very possible that Rise Records put them up to that. No, I don't know what.
Capitol Records.
Oh, Capitol. Okay, well that makes sense then.
And do you remember
Why is
my
this
number?
band on Capitol? It doesn't make any sense.
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, well, just, you
guys lost Anthony Green. You should.
They're the next big thing. Oh well, if they weren't on Capitol Records, they wouldn't have gotten the producer that they got in this album, and this album wouldn't have been as good.
Well, shit.
Well, it was the same producer who did Three Cheers for Sweet Revenge by My Chemical Romance, and also American Idiot.
Will that album show up? Or will that album show up?
Absolutely
we'll
not.
see
album.
what happens
Absolutely
as the
not.
weeks go by.
Nobody likes those albums.
Maybe.
Not even us. Do you remember what my number 61 album was?
I don't. This is all
got
news
your
to
head
me.
scratching. It got you actually kind of upset.
Was it all killer, no filler?
Absolutely. But I'm just going to play it so you'll remember it right away, actually. I used to want to die, but now I believe in Pull the Thorns from Your Heart by Senses Fail.
Well, we have a lot of fun memories of Senses Fail. A lot of interesting stories to tell about this band now. I still hate this album, but I know that you...
Two worst album of 2015 for you.
Yes.
And initially, when we did our initial review of this, I was like, WTF? What is this?
Yes.
What is up with all these weird songwriting choices? But I went through a really hard 2016.
Yes.
And a lot.
That's why I got 2016 tattooed on me.
So to always remember my shitty.
Always remember your time. And the year that you met your girlfriend.
I needed in my life were affirmations of positivity, affirmations of self-love, and affirmations that you're not a piece of shit. Like, stop feeling... I know you feel that way sometimes. But you're not a piece of shit. This is a great album that reinforces all of that stuff. And even though initially when when we reviewed this, and I was like, this is weird. This doesn't sound like anything I know or enjoy. When you listen to it a few times and you take that out of your mind, I finally got it. Like, it snapped in my head. I finally got this album.
All right.
Message and all. Weird songwriting choices like fear.
But
instead of just screaming that part, it should probably be more effective.
See, I can understand that the lyrics were definitely positive.
Yes.
But, we've also talked about a lot of albums with a lot of positive lyrics.
True, correct.
And we've lumped them into the hopecore, headlined by Creed. That will always be.
We talked about it. We talked about another hopecore band 2 weeks ago.
I know.
We talked about Dreamcar.
Tracing Back Roots is a great album.
It is a great album.
Well,
in my opinion,
I still feel
this is an important album in my life as well.
I still. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
It's your album. Keep talking.
Okay, yeah, it's an important album in my life, and it's an album I'm going to carry on in my life too, because I'm going to listen to this, remembering my thought process going into how I felt about this and why I'm listening to this, and kind of remember how I was back then and think about how I am now and the big changes that's kind of occurred. It's not just this album, of course.
And the parallel that I draw with this
Yep.
is the Saint Anger parallel,
Saint Anger.
which is exactly the same thing.
Right.
And I'm not saying
As
that
you can hear on these drums, they were done
not saying
on a tin can.
if there wasn't a tin can involved on that album, that it would have been better.
Right.
Because it's recorded also so terribly. But the songs are so bad. But they're so positive.
They're so
It's like,
positive.
isn't it great
Take the
that-
positivity out of there too. Like if you just listen to the music choices that they do, and you kind of give it a chance instead of being like, "This is Census Fail trying to do this weird thing." Like if you just kind of give it a
But
chance and let it stand on its own.
I said the same thing about Saint Anger in 2003.
Sure, those
And
are
I
still
said,
bad songs.
guys, they're still trying to send a positive message through their not so great music. So you guys need to get it. It's going to be okay.
Just get it, guys.
Because
Just get it.
Just be cool. Let them evolve.
Right.
So I'm saying that was 2003. So that was 14 years ago.
Yeah.
So 14 years from 2015, you're going to be like, oh yeah.
What was I thinking?
You're going to listen back to this and be like, oh yeah, 2016 sucked, but that doesn't mean that album was very good.
We'll have to find out. Hopefully this gets posted, and we'll get to listen back to this in 14
We'll
years.
review in the year 2030
Yeah.
when I am 50 years old.
Yep. Damn.
And see how we feel about these things.
Yep. Absolutely, man.
Oh God, I'm so scared.
So, wow, that was another 20, check marked off of our list, man.
We might as well do the next 20 because we need to catch up.
I know, we should record that right now.
Let's just go.
I have the playlist. I can do it.
I got mine right here too.
All right, so
But we'll give you guys a break.
We'll break here for now. We're gonna go to our sound off really quick, and in the meantime, please comment below on our Facebook page or wherever you're listening to this, and let us know what you think, and if you have any thoughts on any of the records that we talked about, not just the ones that we highlighted. Okay, man. So sounding off.
Did you sound off last week?
I
when
did
it got
not.
Lost?
I think I just let you sound off and I forgot about it.
Okay. Do you have anything for this week? Tell your girlfriend that the Ducks can suck it.
Oh no! What happened?
They
The Ducks played
beat-
the Hawks.
They beat the Blackhawks last night
Oh.
1-0.
Adam,
In
since
Chicago.
she's not in this room and going to listen to this episode in a couple days,
Uh-oh.
I'm gonna have to tell you
Uh-oh.
to your face right now. I'm sorry that happened. Go Hawks!
I was going to say, you're bridging this weird fine line between Ducks fan and Hawks fan right
I
now.
have to be a Ducks fan and I have to be a Hawks fan.
This is very difficult for you.
So to your face, to the face of my best friend who I've loved for many years,
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry that happened to you. Go Hawks!
And then you'll add
Love, when you're listening to this, I didn't mean that.
Subliminally, you're going to add later.
Subliminally, I'm going to add in post-productions.
Go
Quack.
Ducks.
Quack, quack.
Quack, quack. Emilio Estevez. Knuckle Puck. D2, the Mighty Ducks.
Gordon Bombay.
Gordon Bombay.
Iceland is nice.
Iceland. Greenland is covered in ice, and Iceland is very nice.
The Ducks are pretty good this year.
Ooh.
So are the Blackhawks.
Oh, boy.
So we'll see when the playoffs roll around
Yeah,
what's
Erica
going on.
really wants to go to a Ducks game. So if the Hawks are in town playing the Ducks, that's something the three of us can go together.
The last 3 years they've been here on Black Friday, so
Nice.
prepare your day after Thanksgiving
Nice.
again if
That'll
we can.
give me time to buy both a Hawks and a Ducks shirt, cut them in half, sew them together with the opposite side on left and right. That way I can sit in the middle of you two.
Mm-hmm.
And then every time the Hawks score, I'd be like, go Hawks!
This is like me going to the Bears versus Chargers game,
Right.
and everybody getting mad at me.
Like you just have multiple jerseys to rip off every inning. But really quick, I want to sound off. I know you haven't seen it, and you probably don't care, but Logan is a fantastic
Oh, yes.
movie.
I've heard of it.
This is 17 years in the making of Hugh Jackman
Ooh.
playing Wolverine.
He needs to re-listen to Saint Anger.
He probably does.
Yeah,
He
just on re-listen to see how he feels about it.
And as I was leaving the, I'm just gonna end with, because I'm sure most people have seen it by now. It's made a lot of money. But I just want to I just want to sound off by sharing this story. The year 2000 or 99, I don't remember exactly. I'm sitting in the
year 2000.
The year 2000. I'm sitting in the second floor of the biggest mall on Guam. And I'm sitting in the food court with my dad and my sister.
14-year-old Mike.
14-year-old
Maybe
Mike.
13, but could be 14.
Give or take the year.
Pubes sprouting as we speak. Yes.
Straight haired too. It's
Yes.
pointing straight down because they haven't curled yet. That really happened. That was weird. It was really making me uncomfortable. Anyway, so sitting in the food court of this mall, me and my sister are finishing up our
Staring
food.
at my pubes.
Staring at my pubes. Well, my sister's eating a burger. I don't know, but so I hear off the top, just kind of the corner of my ear, a trailer is playing, and I see Sir Patrick Stewart playing there, and he's talking. So I can't really hear what's going because it's kind of loud.
Like Captain Picard.
Captain Picard. Oh, he's in a
Yes.
movie. Oh, he plays paraplegic. How interesting. And then the title card comes on. X-Men. I'm like, holy shit, they're making an X-Men movie?
Like,
And they got
I've
Captain
only-
Picard to play Professor Xavier?
I've only seen that on cartoons.
I know.
And when I saw it, I said, "Oh, that cartoon, it's going nowhere." Anyway,
So I didn't see it in theaters because I was very young at the time. I wasn't really into movies and stuff. But I was like, well, that's really cool to make an X-Men movie. How awesome. That's untapped potential right there.
Yes.
And then I finally saw it in 9th grade English class
because it was a slow day.
because it was a slow day.
Teacher was hungover.
And my God, I was like, whoa, this is amazing. It doesn't have to be this big grandiose thing where they're fighting a giant butthole laser in the sky. Like, it's a very personal story.
Butthole laser.
Like,
Is
every
that a
movie
Star
has
Wars reference?
No, it's like it's just because like a lot of superhero movies end with like a giant explosion in the sky and it's a world-ending event. Like, oh my God! Like, shut the fuck up! I don't care anymore. But like the X-Men movie was a small-scale personal story about prejudice, about people who just want to fit in, people with these fantastical powers who some people are scared of them, some of them just want to fit in with society and not have to think about it. And like, it was really cool. Metaphors, baby.
Like,
and,
it feels
and now
like
to think,
me. I feel like a mutant at school.
and now to think, 17 years later, Hugh Jackman's still playing Wolverine, and he's playing it for the last time in this fantastic movie, again, which is very personal. It's not a giant butthole laser in the sky. It's a very...
How many times does he wear a tank top and flexes?
Lots of times.
Okay.
That's his character arc. He's finally hanging up the tank top. It's all tattered and bloody. But
The only part I saw of him, he was wearing a suit. And
oh
he
yeah,
looked
because
like he was at
he's a limo
funeral.
driver in this movie. Cause,
Oh, of course.
well, you don't understand because you haven't seen all the X-Men movies, and you don't
okay.
really know. You don't really care about the relationship of like Wolverine and Professor X and all they've gone through. Not just
guess
as
not.
characters, but even as actors. They've been playing this together for so long, and it was such an emotional time, and it kind of brought me back to that moment when I saw that trailer for the first time at the food court at the mall. I was like, wow, what a long way this movie series has come. Very cool.
Such a long way your life has come.
So, yeah, exactly.
Like, I would know I'd be
Now I'm
living
buying my own food at food courts and malls.
in- still.
All right,
All
man.
right,
So what are
so
you
it's
signing
good?
off on? Yeah.
All right. Recently added.
Recently
I have a
added
lot
on the
because
tunes.
I need to discuss the things that I discussed last week that got lost. So I had The Living End with Modern Artillery,
Right.
which is a very good album. Roll On was, not that great.
Roll
but
on.
we'll
Roll on.
So again, another week has gone by. Have you listened to any more of this band?
I was in jury duty all this week. I didn't have time to listen to a lot of
You know how
albums.
much music I listened to when I was in jury duty?
Lots.
All the music.
All the music.
All I did was sit there and listen to the Thursday discography.
While deliberations were going on?
No, because I had so much time sitting outside the courtroom.
Really?
Just
I
waiting.
I had barely any time.
Oh, it's because it was a misdemeanor case.
Yeah. Whatever.
So, Modern Artillery is a very good album, but it suffers from a weird, like, the first 6 tracks are good, and then, like, the next 4 are not. and then
I hate that. Yeah,
and then it ends well,
That really ruins the pace of the full album, though. I really hate when albums do that.
including the 7-minute outro song.
8 minutes
Eight
and
minutes.
7 seconds.
Really good song though. It's kind of like two songs, really. It like has an interesting shift change in the middle, but they kind of did it right. So this is still very much their sound. They haven't really changed anything too much, but
This isn't a band that sounds like they are willing to change much. They just kind of have a formula and stick to it.
I have no idea since it's only the 4th album. Well, moving on to the 5th album, which was State of Emergency. No, sorry. Modern Artillery was the 3rd album.
Here it is.
State of Emergency,
State of Emergency, yes.
is the 4th album. Yet another good album, also a 10 out of 14.
Wow.
Yes, they didn't, push the envelope. It's very much the same. There's some forgettable songs. There's
So
some
now that you
good
have a
hooks.
good understanding of this band, have you talked to your cute coworker about it yet?
No, because I don't get to see her too much. But I will, eventually. Okay. I had the opportunity when I was still in the middle of Modern Artillery, but I thought, nope, you're not far enough in yet. You're
not
only
ready.
3 albums. She's going to think you're a D-bag.
Fucking poser.
I know. Oh, she's so pretty, though. Oh, my God.
Gotta get on
And
it,
it's
man.
weird because she's like...
Finish these records.
She's like single, and she's like 33-ish,
Uh-huh.
and she has no kids. That doesn't happen. Who's pretty, single, and 33 with no kids?
Well, my girlfriend's 29. She fits all those criteria.
No, she doesn't.
Why not?
Because she's not
she's not
33.
33.
That's the only one.
Right, exactly.
But still, by 33, women get desperate. 29, remember 29, 31?
Oh, that's right. For the first time in my life.
Right, exactly. It's a big difference between those two. So it's just kind of weird because this girl is like insanely pretty. So I'm thinking, is there something wrong with her? Because that's
because she likes.
no, because she's
'cause
33 and she's single.
Oh.
Because just like when you're 31, like at 29, you're just like, oh, it's so cool, I'm so free. By 31, you're like, oh my God,
There's nobody left.
right. I'm so crazy. But I'll talk to her eventually about it for 5
Cool.
minutes, and she'll be like, oh
She's
yeah.
got a couple more to go.
She'll be like, oh, I only listened to the first album, but.
You fucking bitch. I listened to so much for you.
But she was also the one that told me they broke up when they never really broke up. But anyway.
She's a poser.
She's met the lead singer,
Oh.
so that's kind of cool.
He's technically a friend of the show.
Right. So this band still sounds a little like Green Day, but again, all like the good Green Day.
Yeah.
There's not very much good Green Day, but there's some out there.
Stand-up bass Green Day.
Yes. So Night Verses?
Oh, Night Verses, yes.
The
You
next
listened to
one?
That one.
So the first EP is really good. 4 songs, seven
Also
and a half hours.
7 hours long, yes.
Okay, no, it's only 19 minutes, but still, really good stuff. Like slow, grindy, good vocals. He sounds very Rise Against-y, but it's still cool.
Yes, and like I was telling you last week, a lot of people have described this band as the next
Deftones,
Deftones. Thank you.
which you've still not listened to.
I've never listened to a full album of Deftones.
Anybody out there who's listened to the Deftones, let me know.
Please confirm.
I know the Dead Bedouins do, but they don't listen to the show anyway.
Not anymore.
Not anymore, because they hate us. That's
And
fine.
they're Trump supporters, or are they?
Or are they? I don't think they are.
But
But that
listen to this.
not yet. It just came
Oh,
out
okay.
this morning.
Okay.
I had to
Sorry.
catch up on all these albums
I had to catch up
prepare.
on a lot of shit because I've been on jury duty for the last 3 days.
So, what's the name of this one?
Lift Your Existence
Yes.
from 2013.
Their first full length is like pretty freaking awesome for a first full length.
Right.
Pretty much every song is good.
And a lot of the songs are carried over from the EP as well, but that's okay.
No, they're not.
From
They're all different.
the Shadows, wait, are they?
No.
Oh, no, you're not.
They're
You're
all
right.
different.
Yeah. What am I thinking of?
So I dislike the first track. I dislike antidepressants, both the track and the drug.
And Drug, yeah.
And I dislike the final track.
Phoenix, Rising, Falling,
Which is
10
10
minutes, 13 seconds.
This album goes on forever and ever.
Would you say it was like an hour and 10 minutes long?
Something like that, yeah.
God damn it!
So,
Don't do that, band.
You know,
Release a double album or something.
when you're already an hour in and then the last track comes in and you're like, oh, good, it's finally over. Oh, 10 minutes. So, like, after taking a week off from the album and re-listening to it, it's like, that song's not too bad, but I just didn't give it a pass because it was too long. So, it's a 12 out of 15 album. This is, like, pretty good.
Yeah, I'm glad
I
I knew
enjoyed
that you
it.
would like their sound. I know that. I just knew. I even warned you ahead of time. Like the length is gonna wear you down.
Except the most recent album,
Ooh,
Into the Vanishing Light.
Into the Vanishing Light. This is 2016.
What happened?
What happened?
This isn't my daddy's Night Verses.
This is Deftones at this point.
I don't know what they were trying to do here.
They tried to go more spacey.
Yes.
They tried to go
didn't
a little
they?
bit more...
A little bit more spacey.
Yeah, a little
a
bit
lot
more
of discussion
experimental.
about rocket ships and going
Yeah.
to space and
Lots of
floating.
space.
46 seconds of like some guy talking about, have you ever been to space? Do you know what it's like to be in space? Do you know what it's like to go 5,000 miles a minute? Like, why is this repeating for 50 seconds?
Because they're deep. They're so artistic.
So compared to how good the first album was, this album does not stand up
Oh, boy.
at all. The first track is good. Drifting is a good experimental track.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds very David Bowie.
The song's called Drift.
Drift. Oh,
Yeah.
sorry. And then there's a couple more, but like, man, it's not that good.
Oh boy.
But what's weird is that the final track, number 11,
Phoenix Part 3.
Part 3?
Into the Vanishing Light.
I like that one a lot more than Phoenix Part 2.
And it's a lot longer than... Or it's just a few
It's
seconds
just,
longer.
it's almost the same length.
Yeah.
So again, this album is only like 55 minutes, I think.
Oh wow, what a
So-
short album.
For them, yes. But man, it's only a 5 out of 11. Though.
Oh boy.
I know you gave it an honorable mention.
I did.
I mean, what's your feeling on it?
I mean, I enjoyed it when I listened to it,
It's
but I
not
haven't
the
really
worst of the
gone
year.
back to it much. I do like their sound. I think they're doing something different. I just wish it's a lot more accessible. I think you're asking a lot by recommending this to people, to be honest. So if I
I'm
were,
ready.
I were to tell people, like, listen to their singles if you can, and then if you like their sound, then think about the investment into checking out their album, because it's quite an investment. It's
Yes.
almost a movie,
Pretty much. Which is, yeah, sometimes it's good, and for this one it wasn't.
Yeah.
And then Jets to Peru.
Actually,
In
Your
Your
Absence,
Absence
by
EP
Senses Fail.
by Census Fail. So I can, well, I'll just say for me, I can wash that pull the thorn from your paw
Right.
stank out of my mouth with this EP,
Mm-hmm.
a little acoustic ditty that
Little
is 3 new tracks, which are really good.
Yep.
A lot of death, a lot of sadness,
Mm.
a lot of am I relapsing, am I not?
You decide.
You decide. Here's some songs from my other albums about me relapsing.
Right.
So two cover songs. The first one is from
Actually,
Life Is Not a Waiting Room.
Technically one cover song, because they covered Lost and Found, which is the final track on this EP, on Still Searching.
Oh, sorry.
In the special edition, I'm sorry, they covered that already, in acoustically.
Okay.
So, cool.
So two reimaginings.
Reimagine the song.
Like, hey, remember we did that acoustic song 10 years ago?
Let's do it again.
Redo it acoustically. So, I like those songs. I mean, I really don't like Family Tradition. I think that's one of the songs on that album I don't like. But
It's a
the
single, yeah.
The acoustic version was fine.
Yeah, sure.
Wish I could drain out his half of blood in me, but I'd still have his face.
He hates his father. You
He
get it?
never met his father.
He
How does he
hates
know
his
he has
father.
his father's face?
Because he hates him. Because he sees him in the mirror. It's 1983.
4.
4.
That was my first introduction to Census Fail.
Yep.
Besides drowning in a sea of Novocaine and razor
Throw you
blades.
right in, man. Throw you right in. So the 3 tracks then, did you enjoy them?
The 3 tracks I enjoyed greatly. I'm like, okay, this band moving back into the direction that I know that they can do.
Jets to Peru is one of my favorite songs of this year so far.
I would definitely agree with that.
Great song.
And I like the other like very sad, somber ones too.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, let's just keep on moving in a good direction. Census Fail.
Yeah, they're hinting on all of their social medias that they're going to have a new album this year.
I was going to say, what was our bet from this year? You said they were.
Ooh,
I think you said they were
boy.
going to have a new album, but I think I agreed with you. on
Yes, and that was going to make your top 5 of the year. I believe that's the bet. I still need to type it down and officiate it before
Okay.
the end of the year. But
And
believe
if that is the bet, I will hold you to that, and I will not just like pretend like I don't like the album when I actually do.
Oh, of course. Yeah,
So-
I trust your integrity.
Green Bay Packers gear aside, I am legit.
Well, we've been talking for way too long this week, but that's because we missed last week's episode.
It's just
But-
as long.
Yeah, just almost just as long. But we want to thank you guys for checking out the show this week. And I completely forgot to do some plugs, but you can check us out on Facebook at
think we did.
facebook.com/skinny with Mike and Adam. You can subscribe to us on iTunes, please. You can subscribe to us on YouTube. youtube.com/theskinnyofficial. All of our episodes will be posted on there as well, so you can listen to it in video form if you like. It's just a title card. That's all it is. I'm sorry. No, it's not a video podcast yet.
Click the closed captioning button and see what sort of weird words pop up.
Ooh, I slur my words a lot too. So let's see what it says. You can also follow us on Twitter at @theskinnypod. And if you're planning on doing some Amazon shopping sometime in the near future, please go to our Facebook page at facebook.com/theskinny with Mike and Adam.
Dawn.
And yeah, Dawn, fucking listen to this and do it. And check out our timeline and our top pinned post, which is an Amazon affiliate link. If you click on that post, it'll take you to Amazon, and you can just do your regular shopping. That's all you got to do. We get a kickback. It's gonna be great. Really appreciate it if you do that. Help us out.
This is my family tradition. Good times.
All right, that'll do it for this week's show, guys. Please tune in again next week when we will share our number 60 through 41. We're breaking a top 50 at that point.
For me, it'll be 40.